Now, when I first saw Gillian, what I went through.
He had an incredibly specific idea in his head about what he wanted the Britta character to be. And he wanted, you know, what you see on the show, which is sort of a tougher version of a character who is two parts sort of full of herself and two parts completely sincere. And you know, he wanted to do something very different with the lead female character on the show. And it took us forever to cast that role. And I remember when Gillian came in and she left, and Dan was like sitting in the corner, and I don't know what you were doing, but he was
blanket over.
I mean, he was ecstatic because he was like, we finally found somebody who's got that sort of grit that I want, that can reinvent the female lead for me. He wanted a spin on everything that helped make every character feel different and less like a stereotype. So,
well, yeah.
Is that your wife on the phone?
What?
Is that your wife on the phone?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just recording this for Joel.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
was just going to say that I was actually, the first part of pilot season, I was in the middle of nowhere in New York State shooting the lowest budget independent film I've ever done, and that is really saying something. And I got a call from one of my friends who was like, I just read the script and the part is you. And I was like, listen, I don't have access to anything. I can't. And she said, well, oh well. And then and then a couple weeks later, I came to LA and I auditioned for the show, and I didn't tell anybody that I was going to test for it because I didn't want to jinx it. And so then I called her and said, guess what? I'm doing Community. And she's like, that's the show. That's the part. I told you that was you. And it really was the first time that I read a pilot script where I didn't have to go like, well, okay, well, I'll cut off this part of my brain and then I'll be able to play this role, or like, I'll just pretend like I've only eaten sugar my whole life and I just could, I really just was...
Played the part of a bacterium?
I did. I played a lobotomized. I actually did play a lobotomized Rosemary Kennedy once. No joke.
That was episode 3.
Yeah.
That was
That was the squirrel. That was my homage to. But no, I was so grateful for Dan Harmon and this script because I do feel like it is so different from most of the women on TV, and I'm very happy to be prickly for him every week.
And let me ask you, I mean, you're a graduate of Juilliard, but did you feel at all like you were being thrown into the fire pit? You have Donald and Joel.
Are you implying that
she
was taking a step down?
No.
fire pit. Definitely.
No. I mean, yeah, and I'm incredibly intimidated by, I don't have any background in stand-up or comedy per se. I've played a lot of drug-addicted teenage prostitutes. Done a lot of, look on IMDb. I played a lot of Lost Girls, exotic dancers, my mom calls them. So for me, this was really the first time where I was given an opportunity to do comedy, and obviously I'm in very good company, so I try and I'm learning. This is like graduate school for me.